What's going on, guys? Jack here, stage name Ninjack, and we are back from the dead, baby. So, I'm very sorry about the sudden absence, where I basically just vanished for like 2 weeks now, maybe almost three, I'm not sure. I think this would be the third week, so I think I'm technically avoiding a 3 week absence. But anyways, basically, y'all know I was moving, that was coming up. It ended up being a lot more, it happened a lot quicker than we were anticipating, and that didn't think stuff was going to happen, and then all of a sudden closing everything happened very, very quickly, and it was very chaotic, and we were rushing to move, and it was hectic, it was crazy, and then I didn't have internet for 10 days. So kind of hard to record YouTube videos when you don't have internet. So that was a whole battle in and of itself. So yeah, the point is we are back. I'm here. I'm not dead. We're going to continue. Um, Unfortunately, I did not record my match against the Steel type. So y'all saw week 3 last. Hopefully, if you haven't, go check it out. Of the monotype draft league, the MDL. So I've been talking about the standings and stuff, and I really should have put that right here. But like I said, life has been hectic, and I just didn't have time. I did actually, we're about to watch it, I did recreate the entire battle against the Steel type from memory for you guys. I'm not Jaden Animations, but it's pretty stinking awesome. So, I'm trying. I took the time to make this so that I could catch you guys up so you didn't technically miss anything. But I don't have the standings. Here's what I know. We are contesting that top spot. The previous top 3 were the Fairy type, the Steel type, and the Ghost type. Fairy and Steel gets Zacian Crown form, and Ghost gets Calyrex Ghost Rider, or Shadow Rider, or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. So those types have been doing phenomenally. The players have been playing well. Zacian has, I think, just been wrecking the league. We had actually a really interesting tech that I'm excited to show you guys that we had planned for Zacian. But yeah, so those 3 were in the top spots. But interestingly, last week, this week, and next week, they all played each other. So they were all like sweeping, but they all have their hardest matches at the end. So we're holding out hope because if we can come through and be taking 6 kills basically every fight, then we have a chance to win it. Also, please understand, I'm not speaking as of right now. I'm speaking as of week 3. So I'm talking as if I don't already know what's happened. Okay, I have played the match. But I'm trying to kind of give you guys that real feel. So, just understand, I'm not actually, this is week 3 talking. So I knew that those 3 had difficult matches coming up, and I had to fight. Let's see, it was Steel type week 4, Fairy type week 5, but then it was, oh dear. Oh wait, man, I'm getting confused, guys. I'm telling you, it's been a long month. Shoot, I fought Steel, then I fought Fairy. I know I've got Dragon and Ground left. Should be one more. Right? No. What am I talking about? There's 8 people, 7 teams I have to fight. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing it. So, spoiler alert, I've also already battled Fairy. We're actually going to have that in this same video. Get you guys caught up extra quick. But yeah, basically I knew going into it, the 3 people doing the best, I had 2 of them in the next 2 weeks, but then I had Dragon and Ground afterwards, so I didn't have to worry about that Zacian Crown form. So I knew weeks 4 and 5 were going to be tough just because of Zacian. So yeah, that is kind of the standings. I was looking at it. Yeah, I was a fair bit behind, but I was like, if I can get 6 kills the rest of the season, like that's super easy since we haven't done that very, very much. If I can just get 6 kills every single battle, and they all trade evenly when they battle, then there's a chance that we can come back into it. So that was the goal. 6 kills or bust. And so yeah, without further ado, let the amazing animations begin. To set the field, we are against the steel type. And we're back, because I'm an idiot and accidentally clicked stop recording instead of next slide. So, we're against the steel type, therefore I chose, let's see if we can do it correctly this time. Still recording, yes. Mountainous terrain, I know. I'm already starting off high quality. You know, this is pretty impressive. So, we show up, and my opponent leads a shiny Skarmory, which is pretty cool. I actually really dig shiny Skarmory with the green and the wings. Oh, that's pretty sick. And I lead the boy Scolipede. He did a ton of work week 3. I thought, let's go for it again. Drapion learns the move Earthquake and Fire Fang. I'm against Steel type. I need to say no more, I think. So, turn 1, I Sword Stance. On his part, that was smooth. Nice transition, Jack. He clicked Stealth Rocks, set some hazards. I said, okay, I'm gonna Sword Stance again because you haven't even touched me and my sash is still in play. And he goes, yeah? I'm gonna set Spikes. And I'm like, all right, I think that might be an error. So now we click Baton Pass into Drapion. He takes some damage and not 0 damage because he does have Spikes plus Stealth Rocks. And my opponent clicks another Spikes. So the field is getting lined up with hazards. So we definitely do not want to be swapping a lot. Okay? So then I'm sitting here, I'm like, all right, he's got a lot of hazards. I've got Drapion in at +4 attack, +2 speed. You already know. Of course we Dynamax and what? So I go big and I'm like, die. Max Flare. We set the sun. Nope, this corner probably. We set the sun over here. And he's got Sturdy, so he lives, and he goes, Tweet, foul on the play. That's a red card. But I'm like, no, I'm Dynamax. You can't red card me when I'm Dynamax. Dynamaxing is a foul. Like, you can't red card my Dynamax. I cannot foul. If I'm Dynamax, everything's legal. So red card goes away. He lives at 1 HP, and he sets another Spike. And so now my field is completely loaded with hazards, but we got a +4 attack, +2 speed Drapion. So we Max Flare him in the face again. I mean, come on. In the sun, he's only got 1 health. Like, what else was I going to do? And Skarmory dies. So my opponent sends in Magnezone. Now, my opponent did tell me, this is actually really unfortunate for them. I do hate this for them. They did not intend to bring Magnezone. That was a mistake. They said afterwards that they don't think it would have impacted the match, so we didn't do it. We didn't like stop or anything. And I have to agree, only because I had a +4 Drapion, +4 attack, +2 speed Drapion. I don't think anything was going to be any better than Magnezone here. Excuse me. And so I've got Sun, so I Max Flared it. So that's why I'm like, I actually kind of agree. Maybe, I don't know. Are there theoretical possibilities where, if they didn't have Magnezone, they would have sent this in instead? And, yeah, there is that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I had a +4 attack Drapion in the field. Like, I don't think Magnezone was reversed to something else was going to change it. So Magnezone dies. There's a shock. And Dynamax is up. So my opponent brings in Duraludon. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm +4 attack, like, what do I do here? Do I use Max Flare, or do I use Fire Fang, Earthquake? Then I realize Fire Fang's a terrible move because Duraludon's Dragon type, so it's only neutral. So I'm like, all right, we know what we're going to click here. And my opponent Dynamaxes, which isn't super surprising. I was like, well, they can't Dynamax Zacian, and of the things that I had seen, like, this was definitely a Dynamax target for him. And so I'm like, please, let me hit you with that +4 Earthquake. And obviously, that's a very powerful attack. So Duraludon, you Dynamax, you had your fun, but I'm faster and I hit way harder, so you're dead. Except you're not. This Duraludon lived. I looked it up afterwards. It was actually a roll, not in my favor. I had a 37% chance to kill, assuming, there's EV spreads and stuff. But I'm assuming this was a fast special attacker. I had about a 37% chance to kill. So this thing lives with like 6 or 7%. And I'm like, oh. And he max strikes me into Oblivion. Oblivion? That made sense. Obliterate and Oblivion is now Oblivion, okay? When you destroy something, you send it to Oblivion, just so you know. So Drapion's dead, but we still got that sun, so I come in with Choice Specs Eternatus. And this thing's sitting at like 6% HP. Obviously, because of hazards, I take like 35% or something. I mean, I took a lot of damage. And with Sun, I fire his face, and he dies. Now he dies for real. Eternatus with Specs is really just a monster. So he brings in the dreaded Zacian. Now, game plan number 1 was +4 attack Drapion sweeps his whole team. I did not know that +4 attack Drapion does not guarantee Oko a Dynamax Duraludon. Who knew? I would not have guessed that. I mean, Drapion gets like base 90 attack, so it's very strong. So he sends in Zacian, but I'm like, no worries, no worries. Got my boy Toxicroak, okay? So he comes in ready to eat anything, except not really, because I figured he was going to bring Psychic Fangs against the Poison type. So he does, in fact, Psychic Fangs me, and we lose Toxicroak. But then our boy Gengar comes in. Our boy Gengar comes in. Now I want you to take a moment here. Put in the comments why you think I paused here and got excited. Why do I care that I got a Gengar in against a stinking Zacian? I was so excited for this tech, I'll be honest. I thought about it actually several weeks ago. Well, at the time. It was more like probably a couple months. I was very excited for this. So I come in with Gengar, who's Choice Scarf, by the way. If you haven't put a comment, go put one. What does a Choice Scarf Gengar do? I click Destiny Bond. We outspeed with the Choice Scarf, and we set Bond, and Gengar is the frailest dude on the frickin' planet, so you know he ain't living anything. Psychic Fangs come out, and we both die. I defeated Zacian with a Choice Scarf Destiny Bond Gengar, guys. That was the plan. That was always the backup plan. So I was super excited to do that, actually. It was kind of ironic. I lost Drapion, but I thought, oh, well, at least I get to use Gengar now. So my opponent brings in Excadrill just to keep in mind kill counts. I have lost Drapion and Toxicroak and now Gengar. My opponent has lost Skarmory, Magnezone, Duraludon, and Zacian. So I come in again with the Eternatus. I have taken a lot of damage from those spikes now, and hazards and all. So I'm at like, I don't know, 20%-ish. And I'm looking at this Excadrill and I'm like, yeah, we're definitely just going to fire you in the face. And it Okos. And Corviknight comes out. I'm like, I'm a Specs Eternatus. I'm going to fire you in the face. And it Okos. And thus, we won the steel match, 6 kills to 3. So very exciting. It was extremely fun getting to use the Gengar. And Choice Specs Eternatus is honestly an absolute monster if you don't have Zacian to come in and deal with it. So Drapion picked up 2 kills, Gengar picked up 1, and Eternatus got 3. Excuse me. That's definitely going to go in the video. That's pretty awesome. You know, the giant yawn. So that is the end of my match against the Steel type. And in just a second, we're actually going to go watch the match against the Fairy type. This is week 5. I'll admit I'm a week behind because of the moving is just too chaotic. I tried to keep up, fell behind, so sorry to everyone I'm playing with, sorry to y'all, but we're getting back to it, we're getting settled in. But just give you a little glimpse into how things have been going lately, you know, so my moving process was chaotic, things were crazy. My capture card died. Plugged it into my new desktop, which, oh yeah, shoot, I'm not even talking about it. I'm in a new setup. Now you can see there's a bunch of garbage, not garbage, just like boxes and stuff back there. We're still in the moving process, and my room is not, like this area is not fully set up, obviously. It'll probably be a while before it is. So as a result, there's kind of random stuff all over the ground that's mine that I need to set up. For those of you who are interested, which I know is no one, but I'm going to show you anyways, we actually have got the tarantulas over there, sitting on the ground, you know, because I take such good care of my stuff. But no, I actually really do. I love my tarantulas. But anyways, the capture card died, which sucks. It's not cool. And in fairness, it was $20, so you know I didn't expect a ton out of it. I got a couple months. Doesn't work. Tried it on my laptop. It's kaput. So this recording, I actually did at my friend's. Actually, the water type gym leader, Joe. I recorded it with him because his capture card still worked. And so we're going to be doing a voiceover, and I'm just going to talk through as you watch the match as opposed to live. No, that's not as fun. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out a solution. Probably I'll just buy another cheap capture card because I don't really have the money to buy a nice one right now because we got plans for the rest of my fun money. We got some cool stuff coming, guys. Some very cool stuff coming. You will definitely want to keep sticking around to watch this. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. So I'm going to do a little magic. We are going to teleport into the fairy type match
right now. Okay, guys, we're going to watch this, and we're going to have to do a voiceover. Like I said, I didn't have a capture card that was working, so I had to record this elsewhere and couldn't record my voice. So, we come into the team preview, and my opponent did not have the Alolan Ninetales I thought they were going to have. Which is kind of unfortunate because the game plan was to lead Naganadel, aka Big Wasp, and just have that thing one-shot Ninetales, coming out the gate, Dynamaxing, dropping a Maxus to boost our special attack. When I took the kill, Beast Boost was going to increase the speed, and we were just going to be off to the races. But no Alolan Ninetales. That makes it a little awkward because depending on what she leads, we might not one-shot. If she leads Zacian, I can't use Naganadel. So I'm looking at this, and I'm going, what does my opponent lead here? I'm really not sure, but I'm looking at it going, well, Klefki, maybe, because like I know there's like the screens hazard set, but really I'm just like, I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do. And so I decide to lead Amoonguss. Basically, I figure Amoonguss never loses because it can just click Spore. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. We'll just lead Amoonguss and see what happens. But as you guys can see, we've got a Specs Roserade, so that's a great cleanup mon in the back. But the main game plan is still that Scolipede into Drapion set. Sorry about that. The game's audio is a little too loud for me. I can't even hear myself talk. So we come into the match here. And I always forget how good the music is because I don't always listen to it. And so she does lead Klefki, so that kind of thought process was correct. And we're looking at it, we're like, obviously no reason to Toxic or Clear Smog. Giga Drain makes no sense. Like, let's just Spore. Let's just put something to sleep. So it is the hazard set, so she sets around to Spikes, and we get a Spore off. So night-night time for Klefki. So now we kind of have a little bit of thinking to do. Does my opponent swap here? I'm thinking, well, this seems like a great chance to go into Scolipede, although the only awkward thing is now we're going to lose Sash to those spikes, so that's kind of unfortunate. But I figure my opponent doesn't have a ton of options here. She can either swap in tandem, at which point not really a lot was lost, and she has a sleeping Mon, or she can burn a turn of sleep. And my opponent does choose to burn a turn of sleep. So I figure this is a pretty free Swords Dance. So Klefki wakes up and clicks a light screen. So it is the screen set. And actually, in the moment, I had forgotten about screens, which is weird because that's what I ran with it. I used to use Klefki back in Sun and Moon days, I think it was. And I ran a screen set. Not Sun and Moon. I don't remember what game it was. Maybe it was Sun and Moon. So I get a Swords Dance off here. Also, check out the background with these the people in the crowds. I never see it in this high definition like I am right now. Or I guess I've never paid attention. Like, they have like these little banners that are pretty cool, but they have just like blue with white lines. So that's kind of weird. Like, why not? Like, you've made the characters. Like, why not put like a Pokemon's face on it or Yugo or something? So here I'm trying to figure out, what do we do here? Like, do we Baton Pass now? Do I get another boost? Because she still has Klefki in, and I'm like, I don't think Klefki can do anything to me, really. And she's shown that she's set screen, she's got spikes. So I'm just sitting here trying to figure out, do I go for more stats or do I just swap? So she chooses to set another layer of spikes, and I do go to just swap because I figured I don't really need more setup. Except for the fact that last week we learned sometimes you need even more than +4. But, alas. So we do go into Drapion here because she was stacking up the hazards too, and I didn't want to take too much damage. So we get him in with +2 attack and +1 speed. So I'm just kind of thinking about some numbers here, to be honest. I got to be honest, this was several weeks ago, and I'm really, really sorry. Lots of things have been happening. It's been a little chaotic. My video editing software that I was using ended up not being so great. So I choose to go Earthquake here to deal with potential Sash. And she actually does go for Thunder Wave, which does not work against Drapion because he's a Dark type. Now, talking to my opponent, I found out after she'd actually forgotten that Drapion was Poison Dark. She thought it was Poison Bug because of Scorpii, which I do the same. Like, every time I'm like, oh yeah, look at this Bug Poison type thing is awesome. It's not Bug Poison. It starts as Bug Poison as Scorpii, but it becomes Bug Dark type as Drapion. So I totally understand that. So it's very unfortunate for her to have made that error in the game and tried to click Thunder Wave, which was obviously not a useful move. Oh, the other reason we didn't want to Dynamax here, is Naganadel was the initial Dynamax plan. Because with Beast Boost, it sets up so powerfully with Dynamax capability. So I was trying to save that, and I was pretty sure a +2 attack Drapion would OHKO the Klefki. Ironically, unfortunately for her, she had set a Light Screen instead of a Reflect. Reflect would have been a major problem, but Light Screen is not an issue for Drapion. So we're sitting here, and my opponent chooses to go with Mimikyu. So this is kind of unfortunate, just in that Mimikyu obviously has the ability to Disguise. So definitely don't want to max here. So I choose to just knock off, and I figure removing item will reveal a little bit about what the set is. And also it will break the Disguise, since it doesn't really matter how much damage I do. So we get rid of a weakness policy, which tells me, okay, this might have been a Dynamax target, because if it's weakness policy, she's hoping I'll hit it with something super effective, proc the policy on Disguise, and then she can Dynamax after a Sword Stance at +4 attack. So now I really got to sit here and think. If this was a planned Dynamax target, and she's just gotten a +2 attack, what does she do here? And I'm thinking about this. I'm like, I don't know if they Dynamax without getting the weakness policy proc, but what happens if they do Dynamax and I don't kill? Well, they probably kill Drapion with max Starfall, and then things could be a little awkward for me. So in doing that analysis, I decide I think I need to Dynamax to prevent their Dynamax from just instantly winning them. Not instantly winning them the game, but taking away our momentum. So I choose to Dynamax and max Flare, because I figured, yes, it's at +2 attack, but Drapion's actually pretty physically bulky. So I figure I can live one hit as a Dynamax Drapion, and I can outspeed indefinitely 2 hit from this point. And by setting Flare, or using Flare to set Sun, I increase potential options against Zacian later. So my opponent actually goes to Shadow Sneak. I guess they're just looking to get some chip damage off. So we go for Max Flare here, which pretty obviously is going to kill a non-Dynamax Mimikyu. And we do set that Sun. The idea here is, Naganadel has Flamethrower, so Sun helps that. Also, I had forgotten in my head some of the damage calcs, and basically I was thinking, oh, like Fire Fang and Sun might do more than Earthquake in Sun, but actually that ends up not being true. So Sylveon comes out, and I don't remember which of the stats Sylveon has a ton of, but I'm wondering if it's some kind of bulky variant. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, do we max Ooze here for super effective? Do I max Quake? I do go with max Ooze just for maximum damage, and my opponent does not swap, thankfully. And we do kill, because without Dynamax, Sylveon's not living a +2 attack stab max Ooze from a Drapion. We boost our special attack, which obviously doesn't really matter because Drapion's a physical attacker. So Drapion's really doing some work here. He's putting in a lot of work. More work than he's really put in up to this point. So it's kind of exciting thinking like, hey, he's finally taking kills. So then we see Azumarill, and I'm like, okay, well, normally this is a belly drum, huge power set. So I'm like, hey, there's no way you can set up on my Drapion that's Dynamaxed and at +2. And also, I'm like, you either set up, in which case I just kill you, or you attempt to do an attack, but you don't, like, Azumarill does not have that much attack outside of Belly Drum, so it's just not a threat. So they click Aqua Jet, so I'm like, okay, they're going for more chip. They're just trying to whittle me down a little bit. I click Max Quake here to boost my special defense because I figured all the other stat changes or effects of the moves were not that helpful. I really should listen to music more. It's kind of hype. So here comes Zacian. Here's the big boy, the thing we've been afraid of. So it gets its attack raised. Now, I know that we outspeed because of +1. I've done that calc. But in this moment, I'm suddenly like, all of a sudden, I don't know if +2 attack Earthquake kills or not. I can't remember. I knew I had done the calc, but I couldn't remember if it was guaranteed or if it was just a roll. So I'm just kind of looking at the stuff I've got in the back, trying to think, okay, like, how's this play out? We saw the Gengar tech, so we know what happens if I don't live, but I'm thinking, who do I have in the back for anything that's remaining? Because she still has Dynamax, remember? So here's where I start going, okay, which does more damage? Earthquake, which is super effective, therefore it's going to be 200 base power, or Fire Fang with Sun. Then I realize Sun increases the power of a Fire-type move by 1.5x. So unless it was 66.6 repeating, at which point 1.5 times that is 100, it's going to do less than Earthquake. So I click Earthquake. Now, if it had come in before Dynamax, then obviously Max Flare would have done more. And we find out, at least in this case, Earthquake is in fact an OHKO, and I did look it up after. It's a guaranteed OHKO, depending on spreads, of course. I'm assuming that's a fast attacking Zacian, probably Adamant. So then Mawile comes out, and it has Intimidate. Now, this is actually important, guys. One thing I think my opponent could have done to prevent Drapion from taking 5 of her Pokemon is swap in that Mawile as many times as possible, because using Intimidate, she could have cut the attack and basically taken all the momentum out of Drapion, and my Dynamax could have become fairly fruitless. So I think that's something my opponent could have done. When I got my first kill, I think what she needed to do was go into Mawile, then swap into something else to sack it, go into Mawile, swap into something else to sack it, and basically just cut my attack. And my opponent actually chooses not to Dynamax here. I think that was technically a mistake because I suspect if she Dynamaxes, she probably lives 1 and can max Starfall for the win. Or not for the win, but for a kill. And keep in mind that the point of this league, or the metric by which first place is determined, is kill count, not games won or lost. So by getting a kill, that actually does matter for my opponent because that gives them another kill to their kill count, and they were like, in this moment, they're at the top of the league. No spoilers. I'm just always talking about it from the frame of mind at the time. So at the time, they were at the top of the league. That's not a spoiler. I'm just telling you. So they were right up there at the top, so every kill counted. So I think that was a bit of a mistake. Ultimately, like, 1 kill versus, 0 is not a huge mistake because each week there's a potential to get 6 kills. So, not getting a kill isn't the end of the world, but I still think it was a little bit of an error. Just inefficiency, I guess, is what I should say. It's not really mistake or whatever. It's just inefficient. She could have gone for a kill, at least gotten 1 at that point by Dynamaxing, I think. I don't know. Maybe it still kills, but I don't think so because I was only at +1 at that point. So my opponent did not, in fact, Dynamax, and Drapion picks up the 6-0 sweep. You got to leave a like for that, guys. Leave a like for the 6-0 sweep Drapion's been deserving, but just hasn't done yet. So very exciting that he was able to do that. And this getting 6 kills here was actually really big for us and put us pretty high up in the league. At the beginning of my next video, I will try to have basically a quick snapshot, an overview of where everyone was at that time. But more or less, just summary, by getting 6 kills here, I put myself in a position to where if I get 6 kills in each of the following 2 battles to finish out the season, I have a chance to win the league if one of the people who was in first place got less than 5 kills in their final battle. I know that was confusing. I'll try to explain it a little better at the beginning of the next video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this two-parter double series. Double series. That didn't make sense. Two-part video, double battle for this series. Again, very sorry I've been off the game. It's been a struggle. A lot of things went wrong. It was just very chaotic, and I just didn't have the time. But we're getting back on the train. We're trying to get everything going again. I'm trying to get this stuff scheduled out because I am going on vacation in, as of right now, a week. I don't know what it'll probably be for you guys. Like, wait, am I going on vacation in a week? No, as of right now, it's 2 weeks. But for you guys, it might be a week. I'm not really sure. But basically, yeah, I'm trying to get stuff scheduled out so that we don't miss a video there, and I think we'll be able to do it, but I'm not 100% sure. We do have 2 battles remaining for the MDL before the season comes to an end, and as of right now, there is no plan for playoffs. So, as far as I'm aware, it's just regular season is final season. There is no like championship or bracket or anything like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please, please, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Also, I should have mentioned this earlier, we're on Twitch now, baby. We're streaming, okay? Ninjack _ Pokemon. Unfortunately, Ninjack was taken, so we couldn't just keep that going. Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So Ninjack Pokemon, we're going to be streaming pretty much entirely Showdown for now. The goal is to climb to the top of the ladder, baby. Top of the OU Gen 8 ladder. And I'll just go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a spoiler alert. There are plans to do recordings with Jamvad. That's right. From Jamvad Academy, the Pokemon teacher. So I'm super excited about that. The plan is to try to get a series going where, well, we're still working on the details, so I won't reveal too much because I'm not 100% sure how the series is going to look. I just have an idea of what the series is going to be. But the idea is he's going to be coaching us, teaching me to be a better Pokemon player so that we can really climb that ladder. So it's going to be very cool. You guys won't want to miss that. And yeah, I hope y'all are doing well, and see y'all around.